Hi there, this is Martin Goulding for Guitar Interactive magazine, and welcome to this month's Modern Rock Techniques column with the 10th part in our series looking at legato-based ideas. Following on from last month's issue where we looked at integrating the sweeping and tapping techniques with our legato lines, this month we're going to start the first in a mini-series looking at the application of these techniques to a framework of harmonically extended arpeggios. By superimposing the diatonic 7th arpeggios from the flat 3rd, 5th and flat 7th degrees of our home A-7 A Dorian tonal centre, we see how we can create a range of colourful extended sounds, and with the combination of techniques lending an almost synthesizer-esque tone to the lines. Let's take a look at our first example played over our full roller backing track in A Dorian at 160 BPM. Okay, so this first example is based around our G major 7 arpeggio, which we can view at first around the associated home G major 7 chord in position 4. In this context we can identify our G as the root note, hammering onto the 3rd, and then sweeping through the 5th degree, major 7th, back to the major 3rd on the B string at the 12th fret, and then up to the high E string at the 10th fret with the 5th degree, hammering on a tone high to the 6th, another tone high to the major 7th, and then a tap on the high root note, G, and then from here just pulling back off and descending using left hand tapping or hammering on from nowhere. Just being sure to keep the first finger flat to mute behind the notes that are being hammered. So it's nice and quiet, one note at a time. Now all of this month's ideas are superimposed over our A Dorian tonal centre, and therefore we're viewing these intervals from A as the flat 7th, the 2nd or 9th degree, the 4th or 11th, the 6th or the 13th, back to another 9th, 11th on the high E string at the 10th fret, 5th degree filling in the scale note there, 13th, and then a tap on our flat 7th, G. Okay, let's take a look at the example play through slowly at 60 BPM. Okay, this next example expands upon our first idea and applies our 16th note sweeping and left and right hand tapping pattern to an ascending cascade of extended arpeggios, starting with C major 7 superimposed over our A Dorian tonality to give an A minor 9 sound, and then moving on to E minor 7, which gives us an A minor 11 sound when superimposed, and then moving on to G major 7, our original first example pattern, which gives an A minor 13 sound, and then up to B minor 7, which gives us another type of 13th sound, and then finishing with C major 7 played an octave higher, all superimposed over our A Dorian tonality featured on our full roller backing track. Let's check out the example played up to speed at 160 BPM. This cascade starts with a C major 7, which is our diatonic arpeggio from the flat 3rd degree of A Dorian. And from A, these intervals give us the flat 3rd, the 5th, the flat 7th, the 9th, another 5th, flat 7, root, 9, and then with a tap on the flat and 3rd. And then from here, pulling off and descending using hammer-ons from nowhere. Now the second arpeggio is the diatonic arpeggio built from the 5th degree of our A Dorian mode, so using our trusty power chord as a reference, the root and 5th, we can see that E there's our 5th degree, and by superimposing the E minor 7 arpeggio over our A Dorian tonality, that's going to give us the intervals of a 5th, hammering onto the flat 7th, and then sweeping through from the 9th degree to the 11th, flat 7th, 9th, hammering onto the flat 3, then the 4th, and then a tap on the 5th degree, again pulling off and descending using hammer-ons from nowhere. And again, same as we saw from C major 7 to E minor 7, there's this maneuver of bringing the first finger over to the note that was previously played with the fourth finger. And that kind of sets up the next arpeggio. So far you've got like a C major 7, and then as that descends, it sets up the E minor 7. And now we're going to move to our G major 7 arpeggio, which we've already looked at, and we know that that gives us an A minor 13 sound over our A tonal centre. Same thing again here, the little finger marking the B for us to move our first finger to, and that's the next arpeggio in our cascade, a B minor 7, which again provides like an A minor 13 sound, like a little variation. Okay, so all through the cascade you're seeing this move to the little finger, and then a replacement with the first finger, a duplicate note. So that kind of marks the territory. It's also worth acknowledging really, as you play this at speed, you'll kind of start to identify the move from a major 7 type. They're all 4th position chords, starting with the first finger on the root, on the 5th, on the A string, like root 5 bar chords. And then up to the E minor 7, and then back to major 7, and then minor 7 again. So it's alternating between major 7 and minor 7s, and on top of that it's being linked by this kind of 1st and 4th finger thing. Okay, let's take a look at the example play through slowly to a click at 60 BPM. Okay, this next example starts in the first bar using the sweeping technique to ascend a G major 7 arpeggio, which when superimposed over our A Dorian tonal centre provides an A minor 13 extended sound, and with a legato full roll including a right hand tap on the high E string. The example then descends using the left hand tapping or hammering on from nowhere technique. From here the example then ascends an A minor 7 arpeggio in position 3, before moving into a descending E minor 7 arpeggio in position 4. Okay, let's check out the example played over a full roller backing track in A Dorian at 160 BPM. This next example starts with our G major 7 arpeggio superimposed for an A minor 13 sound. Now as you descend this using hammer-ons from nowhere, back to the G, then we're going to hammer on our 4th finger to the A at the 12th fret, which is our root note. Now that finger group of 1 and 4 on a tone spacing isn't something you're going to see in conventional playing, but in arpeggio cascades it'll crop up from time to time, but basically it sets up the 4th finger to then ascend the A minor 7 arpeggio. Little scale note there, okay, and then tap on 15. And then the key to the move now is this hammer-on the 10th fret. Okay, so from the hammer-on, it then re-taps the same tap as previous, so still 15. Repositions the first finger, and then you're able to descend the notes of the E minor 7 arpeggio, finishing on the 5th degree relative to A. So the best idea is to make a repetition exercise out of that high string. If you put the previous note on the B string, then you'll have an even repetition that sounds like this. And that's going to help you kind of join the ascending A minor 7 arpeggio to the final descending E minor 7 arpeggio. Okay, let's check out the example playthrough slowly to a click at 60 BPM. Our fourth example is similar in structure to our previous example, although starting higher up on the fretboard with an ascending and descending C major 7 arpeggio in position 4. As we've already seen, this gives us an A minor 9 extended sound when superimposed over our underlying A Dorian tonal centre. As a visual landmark, try to recognise the first note, C, as the flat third degree relative to our underlying A root note, which can be viewed on the low E string at the 17th fret in this position. In the second bar, the example ascends the B minor 7 arpeggio before descending the notes of the A minor 7 arpeggio using left-hand tapping in position 4. Okay, let's check out the example played along with our full roller backing track in A Dorian at 160 BPM. This example features the same type of idea as our previous example, this time starting from the C major 7 arpeggio up at the 15th fret area in position 4. Hammering on from nowhere on the descent, and then stretching the first finger out to the 14th fret, where we're then going to ascend a B minor 7 arpeggio, which gives us our A minor 13 superimposed sound. And then a similar kind of move to the last example. We're going to hammer down the 15th fret, re-tap on the same fret that we were previously on the 19th fret, move the first finger to the 12th fret, pull both off, and then we're going to descend the remaining notes of an A minor 7 arpeggio in position 4, striking the root note, pulling downwards for the vibrato. Okay, let's check out the example playthrough slowly to a click at 60 BPM. Our fifth and final example for this month features another colourful sounding cascade, this time starting in bar 1 with our home tonality A minor 7 arpeggio in position 4. The example then moves from a superimposed B minor 7 arpeggio in bar 2, which gives us an A minor 13 extended sound, to a C major 7 arpeggio in bar 3, which gives us an A minor 9 sound. Okay, this final example starts with our home tonality A minor 7 arpeggio in position 4. Moving up a tone to B minor 7, which is superimposed over our A Dorian tonality to give us an extended A minor 13 sound. And then to our C major 7 arpeggio in position 4 at the 15th fret, which is superimposed to give us an A minor 9 extended sound. And then hammering down onto the 19th fret B string, tapping on 20, pulling off again to 19, pulling off to 15 on the B string. So far. Okay, and then hammering down onto the 7th fret. And at the same time as doing that, just locking those two fingers underneath the strings to mute off the B and the E. Meanwhile, bringing the pick up into the underside of the D string and just locking off the low 3 string. So between what's going on there with the mute, The only string that's ringing out is the G string. And that gives us a nice clean vibrato without any kind of surrounding dissonance. Okay, let's check out the example playthrough slowly to a click at 60 BPM. Okay, that's all for this month. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you next issue for the 11th part in our series, which will continue to look at applying the legato, sweeping and left and right hand tapping techniques to our extended arpeggio framework. In the meantime, please feel free to visit my site at www.martingoulding.com.